Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. I'm really happy today that because I have Barb Nickerson and her husband Trevor on, and they own the Swetland Opera House block in Mayville, New York, and we're going to talk about that today. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. When did the building become available for sale?
A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And you guys decided you wanted to, or did you think it over for a long time?
Yeah, we
stumbled.
actually rented the old space where the beauty boutique was.
Oh, okay.
And renovated that for her office. She needed an office at the time. So during that renovation, we had been speaking with the owner and made a deal on a building. So that was, I think, a year ago, last August, we closed on it.
Oh, okay. So it's been about a year and a half then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I rented for like the first year. Yeah.
Okay. And what made you decide you wanted to purchase the whole building? That sounds a little scary to me.
The moment I walked upstairs, I loved it. The moment. And I could just vision theater again and community events, and it really, we're very community minded at the end of the day, and it really was an overall vision for the community. Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted it for the community to share.
Oh,
you were
yes.
very interested in sharing then.
Yes.
Okay. Do you happen to know what year the building was built? How old is it?
I believe it was built in 1901.
1901,
Yeah.
okay. So it's over 100 years old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give a plug to Devin Taylor. He put a really nice write-up on this building on the Village of Mayville website.
Oh, okay.
So you can go to that and see some of the history. But I believe it was built in 1901, if I recall, and that side of the street had burned prior completely. So that was the building was put up.
When the building was new, they had to clear away the rubble from.
Apparently, yeah, that side of the street had burned down. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, the buildings, there were more building fires back in those days than there are now. Most things were made of wood, weren't they?
Yeah, and they heated with, wood and coal and things like that.
Yeah, fires that are not up to the standards of the heating systems that we have today.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think both sides of the street have,
separate
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear about that so much anymore.
Right.
So. Okay. There were probably a bunch of previous owners. Do you know who all of them were?
No, I mean, the Swetlands had the building up to roughly, I think, the late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, okay.
And at that point, the Carlson family bought and ran the building. I believe into the 40s, where the Blatz brothers bought it. And then after that, after the Blatz brothers gave the building up, I don't really know the succession of that.
There were some others.
Yeah, a number of others. Yeah.
Between them and the person that you just bought the building from.
I think it's really neat that the Swetland homestead is the Great Tree Inn. Right, is that correct?
My understanding.
That's our understanding, which is
that's
because Sheila and Mark are friends. And
that's the one just
towards Hartfield.
In the direction of Hartfield,
yes.
the bed and breakfast. Yeah. Yeah, that was a farm, I think. I think, let's see, I'm trying to think who owned it then. I think, oh man, I think their name might have been back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I believe that's correct,
Yeah, and it was a farm. They had a lot of kids. It was a big family, so they needed a big house. I mean, some people's houses are so big, you'd think they should be a bed and breakfast instead of a home.
I always wonder, like, what's the time span in between times they've been in one room to another? I mean, other rooms they just haven't even been in 2 years.
Now, there's a section of the building right next to the Village Park there that has like a different front.
That's a different building.
That is not part of
Yes,
the building that you own.
Van owns that building. It was the former insurance building, insurance company, and then I think it was the print shop after
Right.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that one is,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, so anyway, the Swetlands lived down at the edge of
Yeah,
Mayville,
that's what our
just
understanding.
outside the
Yeah.
village limits. Okay. Okay, now, I remember being a teenager in the 1960s, and the room that was the theater years ago, for a while there, they were having dances for the teenagers.
We've
Up
heard
in
stories. I
the
know a family
building.
friend has talked about dances up there, and I think he said he won a dance contest or something
Oh,
one time
really?
up there. Yeah, so
I don't
yes, we have-
remember that we were competing, but I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that we attended dances
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
I always loved to dance, but
too.
you know what? You know, when you get that thing going again, maybe I could teach some dance
Belly dance,
classes
right?
because
Yes.
I've been trained in belly dance,
Yes,
so I could probably
I remember that. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. You know, I've always wanted to do an episode of Fresh Perspectives around belly dancing, but there's copyright laws that we have to
Oh.
follow here
Oh,
at the
okay.
studio, you know, so you can't just pick out some music, you
Right.
know, get some CDs or something.
Right.
About the only musical thing I could do if I did it on an episode of my TV show is because I have learned to do the Middle Eastern rhythms on the finger cymbals,
Oh.
which are called, depending on what language you speak, it's zills or Kimbala or whatever, you know.
Oh.
So that would be about the only thing I could do, but you wouldn't be able to have like the special kinds of drums and stringed instruments and
Right.
everything. So that's why I haven't done an episode of it, but maybe I could teach some classes up
That'd be fun.
there.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Do people still rent apartments in the building?
No, it's
No.
currently empty. The first floor storefronts, businesses are all open. That part of the building has been renovated, but the upstairs is completely closed off. We're cleaning the building out now, and
It needs a lot of work then.
yeah, it does. After a long, number of decades of abuse, it needs a lot of attention. But we've enlisted the help of Preservation Studios out of Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
We intend to put the building on the National Historic Registry.
Oh, okay.
So they're helping us with that. We have an architect that's redrawn the building. This all in an effort to put it back to what it should be.
Yeah.
And make it something that the community can take part in.
Do you think any of the rooms might eventually be used for offices or anything?
We intend to probably renovate the rooms that we have left into apartments, most likely seasonal apartments.
Oh, okay.
And/or bed and breakfast type,
Oh, yeah.
type rentals, short-term rentals.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good idea.
I'd like eventually to also to consider using the theater as a venue, so we could rent the whole building for like a wedding reception or something like
yeah.
that. So people
Oh,
would
yeah.
have a place to stay, have the reception and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the theater's it's a big space. It's 60 by 60 by 25 feet tall.
Oh, yeah.
So there's different reports on on how many people were could be in the theater, but it's probably between 800 and 1,000. Was the
Really?
seating
Oh
capacity
my
at the time,
gosh.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Now, I seem to remember some sort of seating when I went to those dances up there. Am I remembering correctly?
Well, there's no seating in it now.
No,
The
Yeah.
inside of the building was completely cut up into small apartments.
Oh,
Those, assuming we get on the registry, all of that will come out of the building and it get put back to the way it was to begin with.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's see. Okay, we just answered that question about renovating projects in the building, but if you want to say more about that.
Like I said,
Laundromat.
right now we're, cleaning it out. It's a
Mainly
it's a
cleaning it.
gigantic cleanup is what it is.
Uh-huh.
And then,
So you-
working with our architects, we're trying to sort out
Mhm.
the best layout
Mhm.
of the building, moving into the future.
Oh, yeah. Well, by cleaning out, I'm assuming there's worn out flooring and all kinds of things?
Cleaning out is mostly garbage.
Garbage?
A lot of-
Oh, really?
It was low income rentals.
Uh-huh.
A lot of things left behind. Some
Oh.
apartments were completely full of personal belongings.
Oh, my gosh.
So so it's been quite a cleanup venture.
So, you've got your hands full then, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. They've done a good job, though. I mean, it's,
So you have a whole crew working in there? or
Right now it's my son and myself.
You and your son?
Yeah, we've had a few people in help us,
Mhm.
but otherwise it's mainly just the two of us.
Mhm. His name is Luke?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
because you
he's a-
mentioned somebody named Luke
Yes.
might be coming with
Yeah.
you, but apparently he
Yes,
couldn't make
yes,
it.
he could not make it.
Okay.
He's meeting with his clients. He's fortunate, he's a financial planner.
Oh,
So he
okay.
is able to work here, and then he'll go back down south for a while, and then he'll come back here. So he's been a huge help. He came this summer to help when he had his open heart surgery.
Oh.
So he's been
oh,
going back and
okay.
forth since.
Oh, well, that's nice of him.
Yeah.
You have other children?
Yeah, 3 other children.
3 other
Yeah,
children. Are they
yeah.
all girls? or-
We have a daughter, Shayna. I'm looking at the boys, he's 30, she's 38,
Ish,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, ish. I have to go back. And then we have another daughter, Hannah. She's 2 years younger, and then we have a son, Nicholas.
Okay.
Yeah, who's a year
Okay.
younger than Hannah, and then Luke, who's 3 years younger.
Okay. Now you have a shop in the building, Barb.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce the name of the building?
Well, I know it's,
You know what?
it's
Well,
very interesting.
I was telling my husband yesterday. I said I pronounced it Ben Essie, and he didn't know. He wasn't catching it, so I spelled it for him, and I
Yeah.
said I don't know if I pronounce it right
well,
or not. But
I had to listen to it a million times, and if they, it's Latin for well-being.
well-being.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's why I chose it. I can't even say how they said it. It's like Benesse or something. I'm like, okay.
Well, this is-
Benesse.
anyway, this is how I pronounce
yes,
it,
Benesse works. Yeah, yes. However anybody pronounces it, and that's actually that's the name of the life coaching practice actually, and then
Uh-huh.
and then we named the retail portion the Opera House Home and Gift.
Oh,
So it's-
okay,
I
the Opera
know.
House
I
Home
kind
and
of
Gift.
built up,
and
you know.
you're doing counseling.
I do life coaching and
Yeah.
positive psychology. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
that is, it's a little different than counseling and therapy in that I don't diagnose, I don't assess, I don't advise, I don't
Because you're not
suggest.
actually a doctor.
I have my postgraduate degree,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not a licensed therapist.
Okay.
Yeah, I chose not to do that because at my age and at this point, you have to go 3,000 hours working under somebody supervised, and I knew I didn't want to work necessarily with clinical populations.
Okay.
I'm more interested in strengths
Okay.
You know, working, you know, what are the barriers to achieving the goals that you want, whether it's subjective well-being, whether it's educational, career, anything like that.
Well, I remember it was probably at least 4 or 5 years ago when I was working at the Mayville poll site, and the two of you came in to vote. And we weren't real busy at the moment, so you stopped and chit-chatted with me for a few
Yes,
minutes.
yes.
And you said, I'm going back to school. And I said, you know, I said, oh, really? And what are you going back for? And you said you wanted to go back to school so you could do counseling because
Yeah.
you were sick and tired of all of the young people that were dying from drug overdoses and things.
Yes, yes.
So-
And I feel that I'm a good interim. I have a lot of people that come in and they will not seek professional care.
Oh, really?
They don't want that stigma. They don't want that label.
Well, it
And
used
I work alongside them.
it.
I don't treat them, right?
So you used to. It used to be there was a lot of stigma. I don't know that it's as bad as it
I
used
think
to
it's
be.
more self-inflicted.
You
I
think so?
Yes, I don't think necessarily.
But I think
there's more
people used to
acceptance.
kind of criticize and make fun of people that had a mental illness or something. And I was reading, I just finished reading a book, and I can probably loan it to you if you want
Okay.
to read it.
Sure.
Colleen Vanderseyden was going to acquire a copy for herself also.
Okay.
Oh, that's probably my phone going off over there in my purse. Just ignore it. It sounded like a text. See. But anyway, the last chapter was on mental illness. This is a combination spiritual and emotional type of book, and the guy is a certified hypnotherapist that wrote the book. And in the book, they say that probably that 1 out of 3 people will experience mental illness during their lifetime. Now that's like a third of all people. So.
And I have a different, I think I have a different perspective, and it likely is what kind of drove me into like a more immediate platform. I feel like I can be a good, like I said, an interim or a first step to like clinical care. But they talk about autism as being on a spectrum. Well, here's the thing. To some degree, aren't all symptoms, kind of on a spectrum? I mean, don't we all experience depression?
Yeah.
Don't we all experience anxiety? We all kind of experience these things, right? So, and I don't think it's stable all the time. I think it's fluid, and so you have to really meet people where they are in the moment, So, yeah.
Well,
But-
I'm glad that you're able to help people.
Thank you.
So now,
It's very fulfilling. It really is. When people kind of come in and and they walk a little brighter, like there's a little bit of hope. I'll never forget of a loved one, someone that we love very much went in and was really struggling, and we took him to a general practitioner. And now this person had struggled for years and finally was ready, right? And the general practitioner said, "There's nothing I can do for you." And the look of hopelessness on that
person's
face,
face.
I'll never get over that. And I just thought, there's got to be something, right? And then he did when I kind of called and said, "Wait a minute." Then they said, "Well, we can refer you." And he went in, and he came out from the counselor's office, and I said, "Oh, how'd it go?" And and then I said, "When do you come back?" And he said, 3 weeks. And I'm thinking,
3 weeks.
3 weeks? Somebody else just came into the office and said that they were put on a wait list for 9 weeks.
Oh.
that's, you know.
So you can help people while they're
I
on the
can-
waiting
I
list
can
for a
help
professional
teach them
person.
like regulation skill, you know,
Mm-hmm.
coping mechanisms, things like that. I can get them other resources and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So sure. And you know, sometimes just to be heard,
Mhm.
right? You know, just to have somebody listen,
Right, right.
you know, and ask the right questions.
Well, I have a history of anxiety disorder myself, and gosh, if it wasn't for things like, I mean, I first had the problem as a teenager in high school, and I remember if it hadn't been for yoga and
Sure.
things like that, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know,
Exactly.
because of certain alternative things that I've tried, that I'm able to live a normal life and not have a phobia of being on television.
Yeah, right. I'll have to learn your secret.
Yeah.
But no, and I think you bring up a very good point in that, is that, you know, I think that people, especially with anxiety, I think that people have a tendency to think it's, you know, it's psychological.
Well, you
which
know,
it is,
technically
but
mental
it's
illness-
physiological. You know?
Technically, mental illness is a physical illness because, after all,
Sure.
our brains are part of our bodies.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly. And just
So-
learning how to regulate the stress system, you know, the nervous system is key. And yoga, breathing, meditation, journaling, all of those are really good. So yeah.
Well, now we'll move along to the other parts of your business.
Okay.
The sweater you are wearing is a style that you sell
Yes.
in your store.
Yes.
It's a good, that gray is a good shade of gray for you.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, like sometimes people, you know, their hair color, I think people maybe with gray hair should wear another color. You know,
Yeah, to kind of
and the
contrast.
people who have a lot of hair color, their natural
Yeah.
color and everything probably go better with the gray.
Yeah.
I had a friend, there's a friend of mine, I have a friend of mine who tells me I should not, I like gray clothing, and she will tell me that I shouldn't wear gray, you know, at least not around my face. But
Really?
the way I figure it is, you can
Accessorize,
you
right?
can accessorize it with things like turquoise jewelry
Exactly.
and like that. You know,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
that's the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. What else did you bring to show?
Well, I just, you know what, I just brought tiny stuff because I wasn't quite sure, but we have like organic coffee beans. We have Quirks jewelry.
That's quartz jewelry. is it?
Quirks. It's the brand is Quirks.
Oh, quartz.
Uh-huh,
Quartz. Oh, it's a
and
brand.
That
okay.
is, yep, and that
Okay.
is made and donated actually to the office. Not donated. She gets part of the proceeds, but she donates the rest of the proceeds to the Opera House.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, she must at least pay for what she makes them out
Yes.
of with
Yes.
part of the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then we have winter gear. Think we have some items for men. This is a little wooden box with shave soap, and then books. Those are my
Oh,
favorite.
books.
Yeah.
The strength in our scars.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have to do with the type of counseling that you do?
I think really overall, I would say the general message is, you know, there's growth. There's a, you know, there, you know, people talk about resilience. I think we talked about this before, and I don't, you know, it's, they talk about, oh, you can bounce back from adversity, but bounce back to what? Because there's so many people that aren't
Well, you
feeling
know,
wonderful before
yeah,
something
you know,
bad happened.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you brought that up because I think I kind of know what you mean. Because I took care of my mother the last 4 years she was alive after she had a stroke, and You know, honestly, there are things that I always used to do that I just haven't felt motivated to do since she passed away. That, like, I used to bake all of the bread for my family. Now I just do it once in a while, you know, for special occasions and things. So I don't know if a big experience like that, if you ever go back to being the person you were before. Do you think so?
Well, I think day to day, I mean, I don't necessarily know that we're ever the same person that we were the day before. You know, context change, environmental factors change, you know what I mean? I think that we're all kind of on this fluid trajectory, really, and of development, you know. And now they say, you know, there's neuroplasticity, so the brain can change in function and structure and our whole entire lives, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's what we concentrate on, right, or what we focus on. One of the best things I had ever heard somebody say, I was flipping through channels one day, and they were interviewing a NASCAR driver of all people, right? And they said, "What's your secret to success? You win all these races. What's your secret?" And he said, "My secret is to never stare at the wall, because if you stare at the wall, that's where you end up."
Never stare at the wall?
Never stare at the wall, because if you stare at the wall, that's where you end up. And I remember thinking, in terms of negative thinking, wow, that's kind of like you know, I don't know, almost like a mindset that takes you, right? That if you focus on the negative, that's where you're going to head, right? On the flip side, if you focus on the positive, you know. But going back to, will I ever be the same person? You know, I think I used the analogy before that, to me, resilience is if we all get in a boat, right, at the top of a waterfall.
Oh boy.
Right? So we go on a waterfall.
Now you're making me think of a movie that Meryl Streep was in.
And if we all, as long as we get to the bottom, right, without falling out and hitting our heads or, you know, whatever, we made it, right? So people think that's resilience, but is it? Because what was the experience? What was the meaning of the experience, each person? Just because we made it, did we do all right? Are we okay now? You know, and can we grow from it? I think it's, you know.
Do you drink the coffee?
I do. Yeah.
How is it?
It's pretty good coffee.
Yeah, I can't drink coffee. I guess I've already hinted at the fact that I have a sensitive nervous system, honestly. I honestly, if I drink caffeinated coffee, you don't want to see me on caffeine.
Very busy, are you?
Pretty hyper, actually, pretty hyper. So, but anyway, the winter things. You've brought gloves. These are pretty.
They're pretty.
I bought a pair of gloves from you before Christmas that I was thinking of giving to somebody as a gift, and I changed my mind and decided to keep them for myself.
I struggle with that when new stuff comes in. Yeah, me too.
And then you have knit hats and things.
Yeah, and then we have real colorful ones also. I just kind of grabbed something that
Let's see, this one is acrylic. Now that sweater is part wool that you're wearing.
Yes, yeah. The sweaters, these come from France, actually, and they are. There's some that have wool in them, and then some have alpaca.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And you have them in a variety of different colors.
Yeah, there's green and gray, and then there's multicolored.
There was a multicolored one.
Yeah.
I remember coming in when your mom was thinking about getting one, and then she decided she better not, because it would make her skin itch because of
Yes,
the wool. in
yes,
it,
that's
yeah.
right. You were there within seconds, and it was cute on her too. It was such a shame.
Yeah, it looked cute on her.
Yeah.
It did. So,
And then little, just
lake life.
Chautauqua
New
Lake,
York.
and then
Yeah,
small town Mayville.
Let me hold those up so that he can. Oh, that's this one. It's not mirror image, so I have trouble. Small town community, family, and faith. There's no place like Mayville. Okay. Is that am I seeing a dragonfly on top of the wooden box?
I don't.
What is it? What am I
So I
seeing?
didn't bring my. I think it's floral. It's a triangle and it's floral, like a viney kind of. Some
Yeah.
vines.
2 tree soaps, it says on the top. I don't know if the print can show what it says. 2 tree soaps. So these are for the men. Do you use?
I
He has
I
not
have
tried
not yet,
that.
no.
Not
No.
yet. Okay. So you can't tell us how it is. And then here's one called Ceremony, a book called Ceremony, and it's by a Brianna West, and it's just a big square of gold-colored, shiny stuff on the cover. And what would that be about?
I think it's a lot is poetry and things
Oh,
like
it's
that. And
poetry?
most of the books that I choose are self-discovery, self-awareness, self-healing, self-help, things like that, inspirational.
Yeah, when I go to used book sales, I don't even bother to go look at the fiction.
Yeah.
I look for books that I can learn something valuable
Yes.
from. What kind of books do you like, Trevor?
What kind of books do you like, Trevor?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Audio.
Audio.
Yeah,
I
the ones they put on TV.
I tend to be pretty busy, so
Yeah, you are pretty
I don't sit
busy
much.
with the work you have to do with that big
Right.
building that you went and built.
that's true.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to read what it said on the back of the book here. It said, "Other people are not here to love us in the exact way we think they should. They are here to set up a healing ceremony at which we learn how to love ourselves." And this one is, "I am the hero of my life." Oh, that's by that, okay, that one, the first one I held up was by Bianca Sparacino.
Okay. Yep.
And these other two are by Brianna West. Yeah, I'll hold this one up. And on the back it says, "This is the guide to getting out of your own way." So, did you bring other earrings or just the one
I think I
pair?
just bought. Oh no, I did bring one other pair.
Okay.
She has them in all colors, all shapes, all sizes. They're so fun.
Okay, this
Really
is
fun.
another pair of the earrings right here. They're by the same person that made this pair. So, anyways, do you want to mention the other kinds of things that you? I bought something from you. It's like a cloth.
It was
A little cloth Christmas tree.
felted ornament. Yeah, a little felted ornament.
Felted
Mhm.
ornament, yeah.
So I have felted ornaments. I have tin signs. I have larger wooden signs. I have a beautiful one that just came in of a buffalo. It's beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of like I put it up and I kind of think I hope nobody buys it.
Oh, well, you want to keep
Right.
it in there.
It's just so pretty.
Yeah, it
I
must
have
be.
clocks, decor, clothing, accessories, just really a little bit of everything. I try to get a little bit. I just bought some beautiful plushies, like a giraffe and an elephant for children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have children's books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what else, Trevor? New baby toys that just came in. Little
So
bit
it's
of
different
everything.
from the last time I stopped in then?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Wooden utensils.
Changes seasonally, too.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I see cushions in there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Throw
yeah.
pillows. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. I try to get a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it's usually I buy very low numbers of everything, so it's, you know, I don't have a huge inventory.
No.
Number one, so I try to, because I do want more of a variety. I don't really want to capitalize on any one thing, but also because it's, you know, I don't want.
If
I'd
you
rather
have too
sell it
much
when it's
of,
fresh and trendy or
Yeah.
whatever than to, you know,
Yeah,
just sit on it.
yeah, if you buy too much of something, you probably will end up not
Yes.
selling all of
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right.
You
so.
had shawls and things?
Yes, yes, I have shawls, ponchos, ruanas, sweaters, t-shirts, little camis. I have some really cool coats. What else?
I
Little
saw
trim.
some
Wow.
purses in
Yes.
there.
Oh, I haven't. I brought a sample of a
Oh,
purse.
okay.
A little crossbody. This one is for. It says Survivor. I kind of liked that.
Never give
For the-
up ever because your life matters.
Mm-hmm.
And you can wear it
Yes.
like this.
Yep.
Oops. Wasn't supposed to put both arms through. You can wear it like this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an arm with a fist on it. So it's to help a person feel strong, both emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice.
Thank you. Thank you. And then the only other thing I brought were, you know, you have to have fur babies, right?
Oh,
So we have
yes.
Chewy Vuitton and we have Versace
So those are pretend purses for
They're
little girls?
for dogs.
Oh, for dogs?
And Starbucks coffee.
Okay, so how do the dogs use them?
They're just squeaky.
Oh, I
They're
see.
squeaky
It's
toys.
just
Yeah.
squeaky toys
Yep.
for the dogs.
Squeaky toys.
Okay.
So fun things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we do really candles,
Coffee mugs.
coffee mugs.
Coffee mugs.
Yeah, a little bit
Do
of
you have a
everything.
coffee mug?
No.
Yes.
You didn't bring one, okay.
Oh no, it's over on the
Oh,
desk.
Oh, it's over on the...
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, it's over there.
Yeah.
He's gone and left the room.
Okay. We have
Well,
new
when he comes back, we'll
Swetland shirts, long sleeve shirts that say Swetland Opera House
Okay.
clock. Yeah. So we'll get some more of those. I had some made. And
That other mug that's on that table there, bring that on over. We want to show that. Thank you. They also have mugs that say Swetland Opera House, Block, Mayville, New York. I can hold it this way. So, well, over there. So that the people can see what they look like. Do you have a whole bunch of these over at the store?
we do. And then we have some that say Life is Better at Chautauqua Lake. We have, and then just we have funny ones. We have pretty inspirational ones. Cocktail napkins. Yeah, just, you know, you just try to think one-stop shop, but, I'm
It's
not
basically a gift shop,
It
isn't
is.
it?
Boutique.
Yes.
Boutique. Yeah.
boutique-ish, yeah.
And
yeah.
of course, people can buy for themselves too. They don't, as I've already proven with a pair of gloves.
They're nice too because they're touch screen compatible.
Yeah, yeah. The pair I bought was is a knit pair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one of those knit pairs. that
Okay,
you had.
all right,
And in
okay.
fact, I've been wearing them in recent days. In fact, I wore them this morning on my way here.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, what are your favorite things, Trevor, about her shop?
Oh, I think the shop itself.
Just the shop?
Yeah, it's a really neat place to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think I think people really are comfortable going into it, and it's neat.
Aw,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah. Well, I know you have some couches and things in there
Yes,
for people,
yes, yeah.
for people to sit on.
Yeah.
So,
And he did the work. I just did the easy part and, did the interior, but he did the ceiling in the front is all original tin. 80 hours he put into that.
oh my gosh!
Scraping and
And somebody had
beautiful.
to
He did a
build.
beautiful
Somebody had to build the shelves that are on against the wall, didn't they?
I bought those.
You just bought.
I just
them?
bought those, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, he did, he
You did quite a lot.
Renovated
Of
So
work.
it's
the
a
whole
so it's
salon,
a tin ceiling.
yes, in the above the retail section is original tin ceiling,
Mhm.
and then above the office part where I meet with clients, it looks like tin, but it's drop ceiling because the ceiling it was too far gone. It
Oh,
yeah,
it couldn't
would have
be
been-
repaired, so
no.
you had to put something over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but fortunately, I found something that looked very similar. So
Oh,
a lot of
okay.
people don't realize it when they first walk in.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
So, when you do the counseling, okay, the people make appointments ahead of time,
yes,
is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I got distracted just now and lost my train of thought. Okay. I wanted to have you mention how people can get a hold of you if they want an appointment.
Okay, for the life coaching.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all
They
right.
don't have to have appointments to come in and shop, right?
No, no.
Uh-huh.
That part is
Okay.
open, right? No, just appointments for the life coaching, and that I can be reached. Probably the easiest is 716-397-5622,
Okay.
and that's the number they can call or text. Typically, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And-
Do you have a email or website or anything?
I have, so Ben Essay has a Facebook page, and the Opera House Home and Gift has a Facebook page, and then if they want to follow the progress of the building, there is the Swetland Opera House Block Project page.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so
And-
all the contact information is on those pages also.
Oh.
And my email
Oh,
address,
okay.
it's BENEESSELC.com.
Okay, okay, so you don't take walk-ins for the counseling?
I have, if I am available, yes, if
If somebody comes in and they seem
it's
to
happened.
be really in bad shape and you're not busy, then?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, okay, somebody wants to know if there will eventually be after-school programs in the theater.
I think it's a little too early to
It's
figure.
it's early
to
now,
define.
but we would, yeah, you know what, there is a need. I think about this all the time. There is not a lot for young people to do. And it doesn't, kids in high school, there's sports and stuff, but even activities, there's music, musicals, there's band, chorus, and things like that. There's all kinds of, but then that age, that young adulthood, there really isn't much, and so there really needs to be a place for people to go and to have fun, to engage socially. You know what I mean? I have a lot of younger clients that just say, "Where do you meet people?" Right? I mean, where do you? What do you do? Where do you go? If you don't want to go to a bar, you don't. you know, it's hard. So I would love to have, yes, after-school activities. I would love to see that happen. I would love events, you know, community events, dances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all part of the big
the bigger
picture.
plan.
The bigger plan, yeah.
Putting most of our emphasis now on getting the
Fixing the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting the
Yeah.
building put back in.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
order.
So, yeah, you've got your hands full right now, but eventually you want to get some things going.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other question here is, will you work with groups like Infinity for the performing arts from Jamestown, or the Lakeshore group from Westfield?
I would love to eventually, when the building is ready, and I would love to. Yeah, yeah. I would love to see more like
Well,
that.
Speaking of the Infinity Performing Arts, frequently, well, maybe a couple times a year, really, not frequently, but from time to time, a band called Deep Fried and Dipped in Honey comes on Fresh Perspectives and performs for an hour.
Oh, fun.
Are you familiar with them?
I
at
don't.
all?
I don't think I am. Our daughter, our oldest daughter, was involved with Infinity
A long time
Long
ago.
time.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, under Ron Graham, actually. You know, it was
Well-
wonderful. But
Well,
yeah, it's-
Deep Fried and Dipped in Honey, they do old time music,
Ooh.
like, you know, that's like 100 years old and
Yes.
more.
That'd be
And
perfect.
it has a bluegrassy sort of feeling to it.
Okay.
I really like their music.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll have
once
to
in a
check it
while
out.
you guys could have them come up to perform. They say they like to come and be on Fresh Perspectives because they like to. It gives them an extra opportunity for rehearsing,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, to be on Fresh Perspectives.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they might like to come up there, or you could maybe even have classes, you know, of people who know how to play those musical instruments and things. So,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Sarah Rafalowski, the woman in the group, there's this one song they do about a train, and honestly, she can make that fiddle of hers sound like a train going down the tracks.
Isn't it something?
She is amazing, an amazing musician, but she teaches at the Infinity Performing
she?
Arts, yes.
That's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah, and I think,
So-
you know, it really is kind of becoming a more artistic community. We've got Music for Your Mouth, right? And we've got She Sings Now down the road, and I think that we're getting a fresh perspective, right? In Mayville.
That sounds like
right?
it. That
You know?
sounds like
So
a
I
fresh
think it's great.
perspective.
I know
yeah.
one day I was at the office, and it was a beautiful day, so I had the door open and I heard music, and I was like, you know, and I went out and Karen was playing her violin out on the patio. Well, for Karen Simmons, and I just thought,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is beautiful. It was
Yeah.
a beautiful day. There was music, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes if you go in there, there will be a group of
Yes,
musicians
yeah.
Playing together in
Yeah.
there.
So I like what's happening. I think it's fun.
Are you pretty excited then, Trevor, about
Yeah.
your plans for
Yeah.
the future of the building?
Yeah, I'm excited.
He's the one who has
I-
to make all these things happen. So
it's you know it really is intriguing, the history behind it, and that's kind of gotten me motivated. I think that our generation has completely forgotten what that building was in the past. You know, it started off as a vaudeville theater, opera house, and then eventually moved into movies and other things later on. But most of that generation is gone. It's been really difficult for us, aside from what Devin's done, to put together the history. You know, again, most of that generation has slipped past. So we'd like to bring that back
Yeah,
the
that
best
would
we can.
I think the generation you're talking about is probably my parents' generation. most of them are deceased now. Whenever I run across an obituary for, every once in a while, I'll still run across one for somebody that's over 100. So,
Yeah.
so-
It's very meaningful too. It's very personal for us. Like the building, you know, obviously I love theater, so there was that connection, and then also just in Mayville, you know, we've spent most of our lives here. The building, Carlson's, he went to school with Andy, Francie and Mary are dear friends of mine. It's just, there's so much meaning. It's very personal. You know,
their
I feel very
parents are
connected.
gone. Yeah, I think I know who you mean.
recently,
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
you know, and Molly,
yeah.
you know, I mean, so the Carlsons are important people in my life. So it's, I don't know.
I remember, you're talking about Evelyn Carlson and
Yeah,
her
Evelyn.
husband. Okay. I can
And
remember.
then Mary and Don.
I can remember when I was a little girl in elementary school.
Okay.
Sometimes Evelyn Carlson would be like a substitute teacher. If one of the elementary teachers got sick, she'd come in and substitute for them
Yeah.
until they were feeling well enough to come back to work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we really need substitute teachers
Yes.
in this world.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so Trevor, do you ever get counseling from Barb?
Every day.
The wrong kind.
Every day.
Everything I tell clients not to do.
You tell him to do?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I tell my clients, I not tell my clients, I say, I wonder whether using an I statement would be more helpful during times of conflict. So rather than we point the finger and say, you did this, right, which puts other people immediately into defensive mode, you say, I feel very let down or frustrated when you do blank, right? I'm practicing.
yeah.
Well, you're married to her. You're married to her, so it's kind of the relationship between a husband and a wife and a counselor and one of their clients is a different scenario, I
Yes.
think, you know?
Yeah, it definitely is. And having a doctor of behavioral science in the house is not always cracked up to what it should be. It usually backfires on me.
Well, you know, my husband and I, we had our own honeybees for almost 30 years, and it seems like that would be when he'd get kind of moody. We'd be out working with the honeybees, and would you do this, you know, or would you do that? And, you know, we're getting a little cranky with each other. I think it worked better if just one of us went out and worked by ourselves. But, well, you know, when you're working with honeybees, there's a certain amount of danger involved.
Yeah.
Especially when it's time to bring the honey supers in from the hives when you're getting ready to extract, because you're trying to get these hive body parts inside your building without letting any bees in, if possible, and they're not liking it when
Yeah.
you're moving parts of their hives away. And
Yeah. Bees are a little cranky. I think in general too, I wonder whether men are a little more task oriented, and I think it's a little more
I think
social
that-
for us. Like,
Yeah.
let's chit chat and
Yeah.
let's. What
You
do you
know,
think about this?
Men, have a different kind of personality than women do, don't you think?
I think there are. I
Oh,
think there can
I
be.
think that's an
distinct-
absolute fact. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So have we forgotten anything that we were supposed to talk about? We're down to 3 minutes
Are
here.
we?
Have we forgotten
Went really
anything?
fast. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, let's talk about psychology some more.
You guys have a timeline in which
What?
Nope, I'm following her lead.
for
No.
the theater.
Oh, the
theater.
timeline.
We haven't put a timeline on the theater yet
Because they probably don't know. how
well,
long it's gonna
because
take.
you know we have put the paperwork in for the historic registration of the building, which in itself creates rules to follow when we restore the building.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, there's
that's the state and federal government documents. So we're kind of waiting on that before we put an actual timeline together.
Yeah, don't you have to have a certain sign in a window in the building?
No, not necessarily.
What is that if you're building like a barn or something like that?
Oh, like a
You mean a
permit?
permit?
A building
Oh,
permit?
that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
didn't have to have one of those?
No. Permits are obviously required for any work that's being done on anyone's properties. But what we're talking about is waiting to. We're waiting right now to see where we fall on the historic registry, because with that you have to restore under guidelines.
Oh,
Kinda
And
tells us
once-
what we can
so
and
we-
cannot
we-
do.
So we
Oh.
really haven't started, that part of the process until we understand what those guidelines are.
So
okay.
my
Are you-
timeline, to
are you
answer your
going
question, is a year.
Are you
His
going
is
to need to put
5
new
years.
wiring or anything, electrical wiring?
Oh,
or
I think
anything?
it's going to be a renovation,
Yeah.
and depending on what what level of renovation will depend on obviously what the infrastructure is in the building. But yeah, we're gonna restore it hopefully to what it once was.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be good.
Yep.
So,
fun.
well, I'm so happy you were able to make it
It's been fun.
today.
I always enjoy talking.
Yeah, it was nice to have you on, and thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And I will see those of you on the viewing audience on the next episode.